really national leader on a lot of issues. So they're going to talk about IPM plan for Cal Academy, which we were really impressed with, and I think it offers a lot of inspiration for other institutions who might want to do the same thing. So,
thank you, Chris. It's kind of hard to follow. We need to follow Krista, especially in a structural context, because she's such a mentor and inspiration for that room. Let's see if this works. We'll see how this goes. The controller's a little bit odd. So as Chris mentioned, I work at California Academy of Sciences. Mostly you'll find me in here, the Rainforest exhibit, which I manage. So my background is more horticultural. But as I have a lot of IPM background, I became recruited into assisting with IPM throughout the Academy building. And then, as Chris mentioned, Patrick works with Pest Tech. We contract Pest Tech to support our structural pest management throughout the building. So we collaborate on managing pests throughout. Let's see what happens. Do you want someone else to do this? Yeah, actually, Patrick, you want to do it?
I can do it here.
Next. Oh, and I should say too, I like.
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready to control it? Is it working?
Yeah. Okay, you ready?
Yes. Okay. I'd like to say too, this is a really comfortable sized group, which is nice, and I like discussion. And so does Patrick. So don't hesitate to ask questions, and then we can take this talk wherever it wants to go. I thought I'd start by talking about how the Academy operates as an institution, since it has a lot of bearing on how we manage our pests. Of course, everything we do as an institution needs to be informed by our mission statement: explore, explain, and protect the natural world. And in operating under that mission statement, the Academy is one of transparency regarding our activities, which is great, innovative problem solving, and the desire to model best practices and be sustainable. This, for me, is great because this is the culture under which I best thrive in regards to IPM. I'm proud to be an IPM professional, and I'm sure all of you, especially instructional pests, have worked in an environment where what you do was considered what people don't want to talk about. And I much prefer to be able to talk about it. So what does this mean for our IPM practice? It means no more clandestine pest control or sweeping pest problems under the carpet. They're not our dirty secret. We have an opportunity to develop a plan that we're proud of and we're encouraged to share with communities like this one. Our double platinum LEED status, you guys all familiar with LEED, right? Okay. So the Academy was the first museum to achieve double platinum LEED status, which we're very proud about. That promotes sustainability and use toxic solutions. And then that culture of transparency promotes a culture of strict adherence to regulations. Because if you're going to be transparent, you better be doing things right. And I'm particularly pleased about that. In addition, we are subject to the San Francisco IPM ordinance. As Chris knows, I'm actually a huge fan of the San Francisco IPM ordinance and a huge supporter. I think it's the right way to do things. And so it's nice for me to work in an institution that needs to abide by those regulations. And of course, we have a desire to maintain a positive relationship with the city since we're on city property. And then the opportunity to partner with Pest Tech, which I feel is the most innovative structural pest management business probably in existence. And they have well-developed customer service and public relations skills, plus already a good familiarity with the San Francisco IPM ordinance since they're the city contractors. Okay, next slide.
We're in here, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah, perfect.
Oh, sorry.
I thought I'd talk a little bit about the parameters for our IPM program, which parameters, as you guys know, is just a happy word for challenges, which provide the basis, the framework for our program. So first, we have this beautiful building designed by world-famous architect Berto Piano, and his vision, where it includes a lot of open ventilation and ground glass all around the perimeter to allow a smooth transition with the natural natural areas. We're in the middle of Golden Gate Park. And that also reduces the energy inputs required for climate control. But this creates our first challenge, which is an open architecture makes pest exclusion in the natural area extremely difficult. Next. And then, of course, we, as a research institution, house thousands of invaluable, irreplaceable, very valuable research and collection specimens, which have a damage tolerance threshold of 0. We can't tolerate any pest damage in these collections. And then, my pride and joy, our living collection. Thousands of live animals and plants exhibited on the public floor and housed in holding areas. They also have a very low threshold for pests, but also pesticides. Many of our animals are extremely sensitive to chemicals, so we have a limited suite of chemical tools at our availability. So our second challenge is that we have extremely low pest tolerance in certain areas of our collection and limited tools. And of course, that second challenge is in direct conflict with the first one, which is our limited ability to exclude pests. So when we first moved into the building, this was our first task, is to figure out how to reconcile those two challenges. We decided that rather than view the building as one whole unit and attempt the impossible task of excluding pests from the building, we would identify the areas that were most vulnerable and focus our team efforts on those. And Patrick's going to talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Okay, continue.
Do you release any beneficial insects in those living collections?
Do we release any beneficial insects in living collections? That's a good question, I would say, and that's mostly to address our horticulture pests. I actually use beneficial insects as the foundation for my pest management. Of course, the rainforest exhibit, which is mostly where I focus my horticultural efforts, is ideal for biological control because it's a glassed-in contained structure. And since we need to make sure we contain the tropical insects exhibited there, that place is sealed down tight. So what we release stays in there, and we've actually been very successful in that. Okay, so, and then in addition, of course, we have our visitors. Over a million visitors a year in a building that's open 365